Don't shop for car insurance until you hear this one secret. Every day, insurance companies adjust their rates for one reason or another. They are constantly adjusting the prices for coverage, which means today, Company A has the best rates. Tomorrow, Company B. It's just like buying an airline ticket. How can you possibly know which company is the best match for you on any given day? Easy. Call We Speak Insurance. With their patented technology, We Speak Insurance matches thousands of consumers with the top insurance companies in America. We Speak Insurance is continuously updating the insurance companies and their formulas. Call We Speak Insurance and you'll know which insurance company is the best match for you. If you've just received your renewal, you bought a new car or moved, We Speak Insurance will connect you with the best company for you. Today, get the best match whenever you shop for car insurance. Call We Speak Insurance. 855-901-5258. 855-901-5258. 855-901-5258.
When Jesus said yes, nobody, 'cause he's in control. There's no limit to what you can do, 'cause it all belongs to you. Yes, it all belongs to you. Now rush to know you're almighty and all powerful, and it all to you, and it all to you. There's no limit to what you can do, 'cause it all to you. Yes, it all to you. Now rush to know you're almighty and all powerful, all belongs to you. Yes, it all belongs to you.
Welcome everyone to the Queen Esther Radio Show. I am your host and author, Jessica Taylor. I am truly grateful for the gift of today. Today is March the 11th, 2015. It has been a beautiful day. When I say beautiful, I can't even express that enough because everyone knows that, especially here in the Midwest, we have had a very gruesome winter, ice storms, below frigid temperatures. It's just been ridiculous, this weather has. But today we reached up to, I think, about 64, 65 degrees, and I'm just truly excited. I have my daughter in studio with me today. She's hanging out with me a little bit. It's just a beautiful day today, and I'm just grateful for the gift of today. I'm really excited about this show because we have some guests that are truly trailblazing the way, and they're just doing great things. And I'm excited to have both DiShan and Vikki Johnson to be joining us a little bit later in the show. But before we actually bring them on, or even talk even more about them, because their track record speaks for themselves, I have, that this month is Women Empowerment Month, and I have the awesome privilege of having as one of my special co-hosts for this week and next week, Miss LaSheera Lee. LaSheera, you're on the line with me today.
Hi, Jessica. How are you doing this evening?
I'm amazing. I'm so grateful that you said that you would be on air with me today with my tribe of women and men that follow us, and I'm excited that you're here. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, and I must say I am the one that's honored that you asked me. I count it as a privilege to be on this dynamic show that's going to celebrate women and empowering and instilling hopes and dreams and restoring vision to women. So I am just thrilled and honored to be on this show.
Wow, I like what you said, restoring vision, because I tell you, a lot of people, especially women, especially because we wear so many different hats, there are times that we feel like overwhelmed, feel like we're doing too much, or just feel like we can't do it because we're looking at the next woman and what she's doing. But we're all sisters in this thing. And my grandmother used to always say, keep your eyes on your own lane. As long as you do that, you will be perfectly fine. But what I want to do, LaSheera, I want to tell my tribe, I want you to tell my tribe, a little bit more about you and what it is that you do. And please don't hold back, because this woman right here wears a lot of hats. and she wears them well. So, LaSheera, please introduce yourself to my tribe.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to do so. I count myself a God girl. I'm a mother, wife, educator, blogger, virtual assistant, literary manager, and I also host a blog talk radio show called Read You Later.
Mhm.
And in my spare time, I do try to tutor.
Well, when I say tell them about you, let's really expound on it, especially with Read You Later. Can you tell us about that brand that you're building?
Well, I started because I am an avid reader, and as an educator that lives in a very rural community, sometimes we don't give the opportunity in our community to have literary events or have authors to visit or to introduce our children or our youth to various genres. So as an educator, I saw the need. As an avid reader, I wanted to do something. So I founded Roundtable Readers Book Club here in the big city of Danville, Virginia. And actually, it was 4 years ago today. 4 years ago today.
Oh, wow.
I founded the book club with some of my colleagues and some friends. And we started off with about approximately 16 members. Now we're down to 8. You know how people, life changes, people move, and life gets in the way. But since that duration, I've been blessed enough to have several events featuring Rashonda, Tate Billingsley, Victoria, Krista Murray, Zane, DiShan Washington, oh my Lord, Omar Tyree, Little Perkins, Gerald Imes. We have events to encourage, to instill. I try to make sure that they're not just literary based, even though we have publishing workshops and all this is free. I've been blessed enough to have people subsidize my venues, pay for food. Look, grandma, aunts give me $10 or $20 for bus tickets or hotel fare. It's been a real grassroots effort. But from that, I have seen people, literary buds, for lack of better words, to come to fruition. Some people have published books. Some people are interested in screenwriting. I've had some youth who have improved their reading and writing scores. And I also try to instill an empowerment piece that when you leave, I want you to leave with something more than a book. And I've had publishers to also send free books for my guests, but you leave with some knowledge, some empowerment, a sense of peace, a sense of purpose, because I think it's time out for just going from event to event without gaining some knowledge.
Wow. That's what I love. I was always taught that reading would open up many doors, that reading, I remember I met a guy and he told me, this when I was a little girl, he said, I've been all over the world, and, being a young African-American girl from Gary, Indiana, I said, you've been all over the world? He said, yes, and you too can go all over the world. And I'm like, how can I do that? He said, by reading.
Exactly.
He said, I've been to China, I've been to Australia, I've been to different third world countries. I've been to all of the states in the United States, and that really always has stuck with me. So I'm an avid reader as well, and I think that what you're doing is phenomenal. And also, you said you went down to 8 members, but it also just shows that you can start anywhere, that you don't have no excuse not to educate yourself, read more, support more, and then some of the names that you've named are some of the biggest ones in the African-American community.
Yes,
as far as
really
reading and publishing.
I've been really blessed for them to come to the big city of Danville, Virginia. But, girl.
Tell us how big Danville, Virginia really is. How big is Danville, Virginia?
We have currently, I think our population in the city is around 48,000, and then the outlying county probably has like 50,000. So, look, if I want to pump us up, we're almost at 100.
Well, that is pretty huge. That is pretty huge for a small town. Oh, my God, LaSheera. Well, I want you to tell us a little bit about your guest that you're going to be interviewing on tonight.
Well, first, I think we have DiShan Washington. She's an author. She's a minister, reality television personality. She's a coach. She's a mentor. and she is someone who likes to instill vision and purpose wherever she goes. You know, if you ever have an opportunity to hear her speak or to hear her minister, she'll gladly tell you that all the accolades, you know, when you are introducing her in her bio, she'll tell you you don't have to do that. What she wants to do is she wants to be able to empower, to minister, to speak into the lives of people, especially women. She really has a heart for women and youth, and I have seen her operate her gifts and do it in excellence.
Wow. And that's what I love about, I love what you said about her, and I was reading about her, and even when we had an opportunity to just chat a little bit, she seemed very personable, and I cannot wait for her to share her testimony and to give us a little bit about the books that she's written and are currently writing. I believe that she's a very gifted woman, and I'm so happy and honored that she agreed to be on the show for this month because, like I said, Mike, I don't want to say he's my co-host, but he's the host of the Queen Esther Radio Show and also my fiance. But I told him, I said, baby, this month, this month is Women Empowerment Month, and you are not going to be on the show. It's going to be all about women. And we're going to be celebrating. So what I would like to do is I do want to celebrate women. I do want to honor some women today. I don't know if they're tuned in or not, but if you're just tuning in, we are live tonight on the Queen Esther Radio Show. I have the humble privilege of having LaSheera Lee here with me as a guest co-host on tonight. I also am just truly honored for all the women that are listening. I just want you to know how special you are, how gifted you are, how loved you are. This is Women Empowerment Month, and it is my duty. It is my duty to honor you this month and just send kisses and love on you some more. Our producer and owner of the show, she is a woman. I'm acknowledging her tonight as well because she is truly doing a vast amount of things in the community. I want to thank our sponsors at the Women's Entrepreneur Expo for being the sponsor of the week for the May We Help You radio app. Get your app today by visiting the Google Play App Store or Amazon App Store and in search type MWHY and search. Get updates on hosts, shows, and events. The download for the app is also available at the MWHYradio.com website. Again, that is MWHYradio.com website. And visit www.womenexpo.info for details on the 7th semi-annual Women's Entrepreneur Expo. You are listening to Jessica Taylor, the host of the Queen Esther Radio Show. We'll be right back, and when we come back, you're going to hear the voice of none other than DiShan Washington as our special guest co-host, LaSheera Lee, interviews her. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Hello, I'm Sherelle of Fit and Flow Yoga Radio. Wake up with me every Friday at 6 a.m. and have a wonderful yoga experience. We'll explore meditation and discuss how various yoga postures can help relieve your everyday stress. We'll also make the connection between our faith and wellness. Follow us on Spreaker.com to tune into the show. That's Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. And also search MWHY Radio to join me every Friday at 6 a.m. for Fit and Flow Yoga Radio with Sherelle. And until next time, surrender to your strength and always embrace your flow.
Hi, this is Benita with Off the Vine. Join us on Fridays at 3 o'clock for Fun Talk About Wine. This season, I'm going to put this little sommelier certification to work as we expand the conversation to talk about beer and spirits too. Meet more exciting special guests, and you never know just who may show up at the studio. Off the Vine with Benita on the May We Help You Radio Network, giving you something to whine about.
The Queen Esther Radio Show is brought to you in part by
Hey, this is
Coffee Black, coming through to bring you the latest in sports, celebrity, and entertainment news. Here's the tip this week. So, baby daddy Chris Brown refuses to comment on this baby scandal. The baby mama's ex-husband and other possible father are saying enough for everyone. Moving on. Oprah Winfrey has closed down Harpo Studios in Chicago. She laid off 200-some employees that couldn't make the move to Los Angeles to the own studios. But ain't nothing wrong with consolidating. Marshawn Lynch signed a 3-year, $31 million contract with the Seahawks. But I wonder how much of that will actually go to future fines. Lastly, it looks like Nick Gordon is in rehab. Who that? You know, Bobby Christina's brother/husband. Well, he went on Dr. Phil and rehab from there. I'm happy he went, but the timing reeks of exploitation. I'm just saying. Check out my site, thesipwithcoffeeblack.com, and tune in next week to The Sip with Coffee Black. No sugar, no cream.
Welcome back to the Queen Esther Radio Show. I'm your host, Jessica Taylor. We have a very special guest co-host in the studio with us today. That is none other than Miss LaSheera Lee. LaSheera, you're still with me?
Yes, I am, and I am honored to be here.
Well, I'm going to turn the baton over to you so that you can interview the lovely Miss DiShan Washington.
DiShan, hello. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And DiShan, I know that you are very busy. This lady is a one-woman wrecking crew. She has her hands in all aspects of entertainment. So, DiShan, before we begin, can you give us a brief history or overview of your journey from being a 16-year-old first lady to where you are now?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. Do we have time for that, really? Oh, goodness, of course. Yeah, I got married when I was 16 years old, and I was divorced by the time I was 30 years old. And it has definitely been a journey. It was difficult, navigating as a 16-year-old wife, and then at 17 years old, I became a pastor's wife, i.e. first lady of a church. And it wasn't foreign to me because my mom is a first lady and my grandmother was a first lady. So it wasn't that I was not aware necessarily of what I was getting into, but, of course, until you actually assume the responsibilities and the role of any position, you never know what it is that you're going to have to face. But, even though I have, my ex and I have been apart for a number of years now, I just told someone the other day that I would not change anything. I was honored to hold such a position, to be able to impact and change the lives of literally thousands of people over the course of our marriage. And so although we came to the end of our journey together, I am so excited to be able to still carry on in ministry and all of the different things that I do. I started writing in 2004 was when I self-published my first book. And I actually stumbled into writing. I was a playwright prior to that, and I was known for my stage plays. And then I encountered a shady promoter out in Los Angeles who sent some people out here to scout and to be a guest at my play. They stole my play, took it on the road for a 52-city tour, and it broke me. It literally broke me. And so I decided that I was not going to do any more plays, and because I had a love for telling stories, I wrote my first book, which was called Up High, Down Low, Too Slow. And I tell people all the time, it was horrible. It was an utter disaster. I had no idea there was a formula to writing novels. I just wanted to tell a story. So I did. Only my mom and dad and a few other family members and friends bought the book. So I always tell that story because I didn't wake up one day and say, oh, God, I want to be an author. I want to write books. I really, really, really had a passion for doing stage plays. I even went to school and majored in theater, so that was where my passion was. But because I had been scorned and burned by this, promoter, I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. So I wrote that book, and then I decided to try it again. I started reading African-American fiction, Kimberly Lawson Roby's Casting the Birthstone was the first book that I read that was in the African American fiction genre. Oh yeah, I love her. She's an absolutely wonderful person.
She's a wonderful person. She is.
Yes.
Now, how did you pick yourself up after your play was stolen? What gave you the drive to continue? Because some people, when they face a lot of obstacles or they come to a horrendous event, they get very complacent and they stop. So what motivated you to continue?
Well, I did stop with the stage plays, and that's when I got into the writing, as I said. But I am the type of person, and LaSheera, you know this, I am very resilient. There is something in me that won't allow me to give up for too long. I have been suicidal, as I'm very open and transparent about. I have attempted suicide twice, but there was just something that won't let me die. And even when I hit rock bottom and I lost everything, became homeless, became broke, and just didn't know what to do with my life next, there was still something in me that said there's greater for you. God would send people to cross paths with me to tell me, DiShan, there's greatness on your life. God's plan for you is bigger than you. And I would hear that, and people would say that, trying to encourage me. And I'm like, yeah, but if God's got so many great things for me, why am I having to suffer like this? And so I think that what it is that I have, there's a saying that we have in church, there's something on the inside that works on the outside that's greater. That's greater than any ability that I have on my own. And now that I no longer struggle with suicidal thoughts or anything like that, I'm able to encourage people from a different place now. Why shouldn't I give up? It's not because necessarily God has greatness for me in the future, but my greatness is now. I'm needed now in the earth, not just necessarily what God's going to do, but what he is doing, and that's why I can't give up.
Now, you mentioned certain things that you're doing now, and you also mentioned, was very open, very transparent. You have been very open about this, about your attempted suicide, and how you feel that there's a need or there's a void, perhaps, that we in our communities are not filling. So what are you putting in motion to perhaps assist people and their families who are dealing with this?
Well, I have can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a suicide prevention organization that I started last summer. I'm actually wearing a band right now that says Hold On. That's the name of my suicide prevention organization. Simply Hold On. And on the band that I'm wearing, which is orange, is Hold On, and then we have the hashtag, the Hug Challenge. So, and it has its own website, too, which I'm sure I'll give later. But those two words I found to be very powerful.
Yes.
And so what we're trying to do with the Hug Challenge is to get people back to understanding how powerful love is. Because most of the people who are suicidal, they, number one, feel they have no more options. They feel they totally ran out of options. Then number two, they're not being loved in the way that they understand love. We want to give love the way we need to receive it. But when we understand how that each and every person interprets love in a different way, and if we don't love them the way they need to be loved, then it will be baffling to us why somebody would want to commit suicide and say, well, I don't feel like anybody loves me or understands me. That's because everybody around them is loving them how they want to love them. So what I'm trying to do is start off by a simple hug. We're trying to get people that purchase these bands for $5, and it goes towards the movement and me trying to build a center. I want to start in Atlanta, Georgia, have a hold-on center that people can come to at all hours of the night, whenever, and just get a hug. Because that was the thing that broke the suicidal thoughts off of me. It's something as simple as somebody saying, give me a hug. And it sounds so simple, and in actuality it really is simple, but that gesture of love, because that's what I needed in that moment, and I understood myself a lot better from that point forward. So we're trying to, of course, we can't save everybody, but we're finding out. We do get a lot of inquiries, and we get emails and different things from people who are saying, look, I'm on the verge of giving up, and I try and personally talk to as many people as I possibly can because I know what that feels like personally. Had I was able to go through with the suicide, I was mad. I woke up. I was upset that that overdose, did not work. But in hindsight, now I understand why it had to happen because now I understand people on such a different level. It really is a mental illness. My problem really stems back to me wearing too many hats, bottling up my emotions without dealing with all of the pressures and the stress that I had going on over the years. I had learned how to mask it all, and at some point, everybody is going to break if you don't deal with these things in a healthy way. I should have been getting counseling. I got married at 16. I should have had a counselor my whole life, So we have to encourage people that, look, it's okay to talk to somebody. It's okay to talk to a professional. And if you need other steps and take different measures, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean people are going to look at you funny. But mental illness is really a serious issue that I'm really passionate about. And so I'm excited about Hold On and all of the things that we have planned for this year to bring awareness to suicide prevention.
And, I just really want to say I thank Jessica for actually creating this show and this format because I do believe that what you have said and what Vikki has to say later is going to empower, it's going to help, it's going to maybe detour some very ugly plans that people perhaps had thought or sabotaged their plans for themselves. So I am very grateful for Jessica for creating and developing and giving us this platform to share what you're talking about.
Yes,
now,
me too.
Yes.
Hey, DiShan,
go ahead, Jessica.
LaSheera.
Yes.
Let me just ask DiShan, I'm sorry, I want to ask you one question.
Sure.
Because I really appreciate your honesty on tonight and your openness because, like you said, it is a lot of people, especially in the African American community, because I was always taught even as a young girl what goes on in our house, stay in our house, and, we don't tell our business, but we need some help. We need to talk to somebody.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. I do want to talk a little statistics really quick. How big is it in the African American community of suicide? Is it a great number?
It is a great number, but you would think that it would be larger than the Caucasians, but it's not. Statistics show that Caucasians commit suicide more than African Americans. I think right now last I checked, I think we're around 34%.
Wow.
But that's still a large number. That's still a large number. And more men commit suicide than women. And so it is definitely increasing in our community, particularly the African American community, because we have not only been taught that what goes on stays in our home, but we've been taught somehow that going to get mental help is embarrassing, is shameful, is wrong, and that is the biggest misconception ever. My mother has a master's degree in counseling. This is what she does every single day. And I didn't even talk to my own mom. This is what she's trained to do. And I didn't even talk to her when I was going through all of the things that I was going through because I felt like I've got to be strong. I'm supposed to carry this. I'm built to carry these situations and these problems because we have let people whisper in our ear, you're strong, you can take it, you can do it, you were built to last, and this, that, and the other, when in actuality, again, we all have a breaking point, and it's okay to go tell somebody, you know what, I don't have the answers, I don't know it all, I'm at the end of my rope, I'm about to give up, I'm saved, I love God, I love His people, but I want to give up today. This is not about, somebody praying for me, because I know the word for myself, but that obviously wasn't working for me because I struggled with that for years.
Wow. Yeah, and I know, like, a lot of times, especially in the Christian community, we're taught that you can pray it away. And people associate that with spirits and things of that nature. And a lot of times when people come for help, we're real about this, especially if you go to your church elders or your missionaries or people that you hold in high esteem, they kind of scoff at you. And people have observed that over the years. And so instead of getting help, they do as you previously had done. They hold it in. They keep going. They keep going until their mask is falling off their face, and they have no other face to show.
Oh, right, right, and that's when you find somebody who is then trying to figure out what to do. At that point, it's almost too late. We got to start trying to catch people before they get to the end of the rope.
Yes.
If you see them headed to the end of the rope, that is when we need to provide the intervention and step in and say, hey, how can we help you, especially Christians? Because I'm sorry, I may get stoned for this, but I say it all the time. You can't pray everything away. There is a such thing as having a natural reaction to a natural action. If something happens to me in the natural realm, and for example, when I was going through my divorce, that didn't happen in the spirit realm. That happened in the natural, and it hurt me in the natural. So why would I do just prayer? I need somebody to help me cope with grief in the natural, because guess what? I can't live in the spirit realm 24/7. I got to walk on earth. I got to go to work. I got to take care of my daughters. I got to have other relationships. I got to do other things. So if all I can do is pray 24/7, what am I going to do about this broken heart? How am I going to address what I'm really feeling? Crying is a natural reaction to a natural action. And we have got to stop expecting people to have a spiritual reaction to natural actions. You just got to stop expecting.
That's a message all within itself.
You know what? I want to, if you are, again, this is a live show. This is the Queen Esther Radio Show. I'm your host, Jessica Taylor, and I have special co-host with me, LaSheera Lee. We are live on the air with DiShan Washington. And if you have a question or a comment, please dial in, or if you're online as well, or if you're tuned in with the AM, FM radio stations. But if you are dialed in, you can always press 1 to let the producer know that you are in the queue. But I want to take a quick commercial break. DiShan, I'm telling you, you're taking some mask off some things tonight. You are truly, truly doing that, because I'm sitting over here like goosebumps all up and down my arms, because you are really exposing a lot of lies. I want to take a very quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll finish our interview with author, playwright DiShan Washington. We'll be right back.
Hey, Chef Jovi here of the Eatsperience Radio Show. Join me 10 a.m. every Thursday to explore recipes, best restaurants, and food spots in and around the country. I look forward to receiving your comments, so follow us on Spreaker.com to tune into the show. That's SPREAKER.com. And search MWHY Radio to join me every Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Eatsperience Radio Show. And remember to share your Eatsperience.
I'm Tanya Free. This week marks 50 years since the March in Selma, Bloody Sunday, the police attacks on civil rights marchers at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, that led over time to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. While we have made progress, last week Department of Justice report on Ferguson in a poll that 4 in 10 Americans say that race relations have gotten worse under our first black president is a reminder that we have not come as far as many believe. Let's talk about it this Wednesday on the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show and 24/7 on TanyaFree.com. Until next time, be free and remember to live life with a purpose.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk. Wednesdays at 2 p.m., streaming live on TanyaFree.com and BlackTalkRadioNetwork.com. Join the conversation Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
Thank you to our sponsors of the Queen Esther Radio Show.
If you're the parent of a child with behavioral challenges that has been suspended, expelled, or just not able to make it in a traditional school setting, there is an alternative. Call the Metropolitan Day School today. Licensed and accredited grades K through 12. Call 804-321-2595. Financial assistance and after-school programs are available. Let's turn this school year around right now at the Metropolitan Day School, where Eagles soar. Call Ms. Thomas today. 804-321-2595.
Well, welcome back to the Queen Esther Radio Show. We are just having an extra great time today. I am your host, Jessica Taylor, and we have co-host, guest extraordinaire, LaSheera Lee. We have the awesome privilege of having on air with us DiShan Washington. But we do have a caller on the line, DiShan, by the name of Alberta, who wants to give a comment. Alberta, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Hi, Alberta.
Hi, how are you, LaSheera? Hi,
I'm doing fine, Alberta.
Well, Alberta, we want to hear your comment.
Yes, I just wanted to thank DiShan for sharing her story. I am a assist trainer, so I am a suicide intervention and prevention trainer. And so I do trainings here in Fort Campbell for our soldiers. And so, yes, and so I just want to say I just thank you for sharing your story. And each time I do a training, it's never easy. I always get nervous about the training because I never know what's gonna take place when I do those trainings. And almost every time I do one, I'm also a social worker, so I have to pull someone aside, pull them out of the training and kind of talk to them, and stuff. So I just wanted to thank you for sharing your story. I'm very passionate about, this subject, and I just love what you're doing. And so I hope to be able to follow you and maybe even support what you're doing with what you're trying to do with that. So I just want to say thank you for sharing your story.
DiShan?
Are you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Were you able to hear Alberta's comment?
Yes, I was. I'm sorry. Were you guys not able to hear me?
No, we were not. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I was able to hear her. Thank you so much, Alberta, for calling in, and thank you for your service, as well as your efforts in suicide prevention. I'm always interested in speaking to people who share the same passion that I have regarding that.
Yes. So I will definitely love to follow you, and hopefully there'll be some information at the end where I can kind of follow you, and whatever I can do to assist and promote what you're trying to do, I would gladly do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Alberta, for calling in. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, DiShan, we want to switch gears a little and talk briefly about your book, Diary of a Mad First Lady, too.
Yes.
So can you tell just right about the craziness that will be occurring in this book and when it will be released?
Oh, my God. It is so much drama going on in Diary 2. And this is just book number 2 to what's going to be a 5-book series. So Diary 1 produced the drama. I think everybody loved that book. A lot of my fans were disappointed when The Preacher's Wifey was not the sequel. Everybody was waiting for Diary 2 because Diary 1 ends with the first lady that's featured in Diary 2. She's pregnant. She doesn't know if it's by her lover or by her husband. So in Diary 2, it's a mess. It's a mess.
It's a different first lady.
She's different. But here's the thing, though. She started out being a traditional first lady, doing pretty much what was expected of her to do. She dress the way that they wanted her to dress. And over time, they just picked at her for every little bitty thing, and she got tired. She was like, look, I'm tired of this facade. I want to go somewhere and escape the responsibility of having all of these expectations on me. And so she gets, her husband, you find out very early on they're having problems. She would love to be, faithful to her husband, but unfortunately he is not faithful to her, and she gets fed up and she does something about it. However, what she did not plan on is falling in love with the assistant pastor at that church.
Wow.
She did not plan that.
Yeah. There goes the next rainbow tea for sure.
Yeah, she is she did not plan on that. There was an instant connection, but she did not plan on having to falling in love with the man that she's sitting next to every Sunday, having to keep this secret through every church service. So it's a up and down roller coaster, but that's my style of writing. Anybody who's read my books, whether it was Diary or Preacher's Wifey, I try to take the reader on a roller coaster ride, take you up, take you down, take you up, take you down, and let you smooth coast on out. But as I was writing the end, of course, Diary 2 is going to end with the beginning of Diary 3. And so I'm already excited about that. But Diary 2 is actually coming out on the 17th of March. And so I am really, really excited to finally appease my fans and my readers and everybody who's been waiting on Diary 2 now for quite some time. So
now,
DiShan,
yes. Before you leave, can you tell us where we can purchase a copy of the book and how people like Alberta or other people who are a part of Jessica Tribe can follow you or like you?
Sure. It's very simple. DiShanWashington.com has everything on that particular website as far as following me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is all on my website. Everything that I'm doing with Hold On, the Suicide Prevention Organization, is on there. My Eros business, my new book, the link to the publishing company, everything is on the site. So DiShanWashington.com is where everybody can find out more information. And also sign up for my mailing list.
And when will your book be released once again?
March 17th.
March 17th. Well, DiShan, we appreciate you being so transparent. We appreciate you being honest and sharing with us, and hopefully through your sharing and through your empowering of yourself, you have empowered some of Jessica Tribe members tonight. And thank you for calling in.
Thank you both for having me tonight. It's been a pleasure.
DiShan, I want to connect with you further past this interview, so just know I will be messaging you.
Okay, I look forward to it, Jessica.
I mean, you are truly. I'm just. I don't even know what to say. I'm just really. My breath is taken away at your openness. You know, a lot of people, they try to mask things, and especially in the church, because we've all been taught, like you said, to just, you need to just ask God to help you and pray. But God still put help in the earth for you to get that.
Absolutely.
And I just think, because even when I was going through what I was going through, I remember trying to take my car on the highway and trying to drive it into the rail, because I was just like, if this is what life is about, I don't want no price of it. I was at such a breaking point, and but I remember just the intervention that happened. But God did use counseling to help me, to bring me back to a state of peace. I am so for counseling. Like, I went through like 2+ years of domestic violence training counseling. 2+ years.
Wow.
And here I am, educated, VP of a bank. I was in counseling, and it was so refreshing. And even I was just telling my fiance a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I think I should have went through grief counseling for the death of my best friend. I think I should have went to grief counseling, because I'm still having those. But I just want to thank you so much, because you don't know how many people you're setting free right now. I truly, honestly, I want to thank you so much for being so honest and so open on tonight. Thank you.
I'm actually honored. I'm telling you, I'm able to speak transparently because I didn't have that. I didn't have anybody. Everybody in my circle was super spiritual, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a time and place for it. But even the Bible says, Jesus said, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health as your soul prospers. That lets me know there's a difference. There's a difference. My soul prospering and me being in good health are two different things. And so one speaks to the spirit realm and one speaks to the natural. So even Jesus says that. And so I don't know why we feel like everything has to be spiritual. And I know we can talk about this all night long. I know y'all got other people to talk to. I look forward to continuing the conversation because it is needed in the body of Christ. And I think that if we had people that was more transparent, we would see a lot of healthy churches. We would see a healthier body of Christ, because we are not so spiritual that we are perfect. We're just not. I don't care what position you hold. I've been a pastor before. Still a minister. I'm the first one to raise my hand and say, let me testify. Let me tell you how I messed up. I don't like for people to talk about my accolades, even though I know that in certain arenas I have to listen to people talk about my accolades. I would rather stand up and tell people, let me tell you what I've been through. Let me tell you the hell I've had to come through. Let me tell you what it's like to overdose and be mad at God, the God who loves me, the God who's taken care of me all my life. But let me tell you what it's like to be mad at him and question him, even though my grandmama told me I wasn't supposed to. I'm real like that. Wow. I'm real like that. I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to ask God why, and it's wrong to ask him why. Why is it wrong? Where in the Bible does it say we can't look to heaven and say, God, can you help me understand? Even David, when he was going through what he was going through, he said, how long, Lord, must I go through this? In other words, he said, well, is this going to last forever? You know what I'm saying? So, I just try to keep it real with people. I love the Lord. I know the Word. I've learned how to apply it to my life, and I've also learned how to just live on earth, because if God wanted us to be spiritual all the time, we would just go on to be, he could just take us right now and we go on to heaven. But right now, our address is right here on earth. And while I'm living here, I'm going to live the best life that I possibly can and try and help as many people as I possibly can through my story and through my transparency. So anytime I have an opportunity to talk, I try and just be straightforward and just don't beat around the bush and tell people, look, sometimes you're not going to feel like praying. Sometimes you won't be speaking in tongues. Sometimes you're not going to lay hands on yourself and nobody else. Sometimes you ain't going to even feel like you love God. But guess what? Thank God that we serve a God who loves us in spite of us. And that's my moment.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, DiShan, you are truly a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much. And tell the audience one more time how to connect with you. One last time. Tell them.
Thank you. My website is DiShanWashington.com, and that's DISHAN Washington.com.
Wow. Praise God for you. Praise
Thank
God
you all.
for you.
Thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate you.
Oh, we appreciate you.
What I want to do, again, if you're just tuning in, my name is Jessica Taylor. I'm your host for the Queen Esther Radio Show. I have a very good, dear sister, friend of mine, LaSheera Lee. She is a special guest co-host on tonight. We have had the honor and the privilege of interviewing the lovely, honest,
truly
open,
transparent,
very transparent, DiShan Washington. Well, we're going to go higher in the show. What I would like for you to do is just stay tuned. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is happy to announce our partnership with the May We Help You Radio Network. You can now catch the rebroadcast of our Wednesday show every Thursday at 6 p.m. That's Tanya Free and Friends, the podcast, every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. We welcome your comments and opinions 24/7 at TanyaFree.com, Facebook and Twitter, or send me a text by texting the word Tanya, that's 72727. Tanya Free and Friends, and May We Help You Radio. Living life with a purpose.
Are you frustrated, disappointed, discouraged with your life? Are you angry with God? What's holding you back from fulfilling your purpose? Are you struggling as a leader in ministry? Do you believe you have an end-time calling? If you answered yes to any of these questions, tune in to The Waymakers on MWHY Radio Network every other Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are here to support you. Join us to get the answers that will prepare the way of the Lord in your life.
The Queen Esther Radio Show will return after these messages.
Hi, this is Capri Smith of the Uncuffed Radio Show. Join me every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to learn how you can grow in your business, personal environment, and reach your true potential while uncuffing what is binding you, only on the May We Help You Radio Network.
To all of my female entrepreneurs, it's time to expand your region and business profits. Are you networking in the same locale and doing the same guest list over and over? Do you find your colleagues are referring new business and its clients that you already have in your portfolio? Are you industry stagnant? And are your social groups and events filled with the same people? If you answer yes to just one of these questions, it's time to expand internationally. You are cordially invited to petition for attendance to an all-female exclusive and private event featuring the Power of 52 Women, the East Coast International Business Symposium, hosted by rockstar entrepreneur and international business consultant Erica A. Murray and multimedia distributor and expert Letitia M., and moderator Ms. Joan Henry of the Women's Entrepreneur Expo, beginning February 28, 2015 in Baltimore, Maryland, March 28th in New York, April 18th in Washington, D.C., May the 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia, June the 20th in Boston, Massachusetts, and September, Africa. If you are serious about your business, don't miss this event. Go to www.thepowerof52women.com for more information. Once again, go to www.thepowerof52women.com and register today. This is an event you don't want to miss.
Well, welcome back again to the Queen Esther Radio Show. I'm your host, Jessica Taylor. We have just been going up and up and up in the show, and I truly appreciate the lovely DiShan Washington for her transparency on tonight on the Queen Esther Radio Show. Suicide and just hopelessness is a very, very big deal. And I just appreciate her story, being so honest about what has went on in her life. And then just to hear other people, because there's always someone. But there's always just, something that people are just going through. They're going through a lot of things. But tonight on Motivational Moments, I just want to be as transparent as I can be. We have, it is something that DiShan touched on it. I was going to talk a little bit about it, about getting help. This is not something to tear anyone down now, use Jason's words, but it's something to build you up. A lot of people are going through a lot of different things. Right now, I get so many emails. I get a lot of calls, I get texts, anything that can transfer a message or something like that. I hear, I see a lot of different things that people are going through, and they're always asking for prayer or asking me for my advice. And I will say this, and I was so glad that DiShan touched on it. If there is professional help for you to get it. There is nothing wrong with going to see a counselor, whether it's a drug addiction counselor, a psychiatric counselor, someone that you can talk to that will keep your information safe and confidential. There is nothing wrong with seeking help. I read last week where someone that I went to school with did commit suicide. And I thought to myself, he hadn't too long, a couple of months ago that he had reached out to me and was just talking to me. But you know how you can just tell that something isn't right. And I said, hey, man, if you need to go to a counselor, there's nothing wrong with that. But little did I know that I was going to get the news that he had taken his own life. And DiShan speaking that today was just confirmation that I was supposed to speak about it. If you are going through anything, whether it's grief, whether it's drug addiction, whether it's sexual addiction, whether it's depression, whatever, eating disorders, whatever the case may be, it is okay to seek professional help. I'm not trying to tear anyone down. Today my focus is to build you up and to let you know that there is so much living for you to do. This moment with me today was going to be very short due to just, even having to talk about that. But I just want you to know that it is okay to go get help, and that help is available. And that if you know me, whether I'm on whatever part of social media I'm on, definitely you can reach me on Facebook at Jessica Taylor. I am here to help you as much as I can, pray with you, love on you as much as possible. So get some help. I do want to say that it is also that time again for the 5th annual Let's Get Serious Health, Wellness, and Fitness Expo. Those of you who have attended this expo before can attest to the fact that this event is nothing but pure family fun. So come on out again for this year. Last year, Cheryl Cofield International hosted over 1,000 attendees. The goal this year is at least 1,300 registered attendees. Visit letsgetserious.eventbrite.com. Again, that is letsgetserious.eventbrite.com to register for this free event. Sponsorship and vendor opportunities are still available. You are tuned in to the Queen Esther Radio Show. I am your host and author, Jessica Taylor. I do have the privilege of having LaSheera Lee be my special co-host today, and I'm just truly, truly excited. And guess what? We are going higher in this show, and I'm telling you, I am truly honored. I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch my breath a little bit. I am truly honored, and I'm also humbled that this guest that is coming on the line is someone who I truly, if you know me, you know, if you truly know me, you know that some kind of way I'm going to bring up Vikki Johnson. Some kind of way I'm going to tell my testimony about when I was in the domestic violence shelter and just how I went to a conference. And going to that women's conference, they told me I could pick any book out. That I could pick 2 books. And her book, her face was just so welcoming. But at the time, I was living in a battered women's shelter. I was living in the transitional part of the battered women's shelter. And the book was entitled Addicted to Counterfeit Love. What I'm so excited about is because Vikki has done a relaunch of this dynamic book, this life-changing book, this eye-opening book, this book that I'm about to start crying. I always cry when I talk about this because I believe that God used this book for a healing catalyst in my life. And I tell everybody about this book, Addicted to Counterfeit Love. Right now I have the privilege, the honor. I am just so humble that she always says yes to coming onto this show. But I have the privilege and the honor of introducing to some and presenting to others the awesome Vikki Johnson. Vikki Johnson, are you on the line with me?
Good evening, Jessica. Good evening, LaSheera. How are you ladies?
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited that you're here. And look, I promise not to cry tonight. I said I'm not crying.
It's okay. I've been enjoying the show. I really enjoyed DiShan. I mean, she was amazing. So, yeah, it just is an aligned conversation, you know. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here again, always. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for saying yes, because I know you're a very, very busy woman. So, I mean, that in and of itself is always just like, oh, my gosh, Vikki said yes. Vikki is scheduling some time. Vikki is scheduling some time with me. And, Vikki, I do want to, because I do want to spend some time talking about this book tonight. I really want to dive into Addicted to Counterfeit Love. What made you relaunch this book?
Excuse me. I relaunched it because I knew there was life still in it, and women and men who still needed to read the book, to have their own personal experience of the book, so that they could embrace love the way God intended for them to do that. And it wasn't easy. It was a process to get to this point, but I'm just very grateful to be here and to be able to have the book in the marketplace at this time when so many are looking for love in all the wrong places. And to have just a resource, it's not the only resource. There are amazing authors and speakers and counselors and therapists and just subject matter experts on the topic, and I'm just grateful to be one of them.
Wow. Addicted to Counterfeit Love. The title in and of itself is just captivating, because anytime you think of somebody being addicted to something, that means that they have the can't help it. Yep. When I always think of addiction, I think of I just got the can't help it. I can't help myself. First of all, let's talk about the title. Why did you entitle it Addicted to Counterfeit Love?
Well, you talk about addiction and people having the can't help it, and a lot of times we do literally fall and bump our heads into what we think love should be. And we get addicted. We become attached to the possibility of the fantasy, of what we see, of, you know, what other people have. I'm Beyonce. I want my Jay-Z. You know, I'm Jada. Where's my Will Smith? You know, we become anesthetized to the fantasy of other people's relationships. And the reality is we all have a process to go through to get to the point of maturity where we can experience healthy, relating, loving, supporting partnerships with ourselves, with God, and then ultimately with other people. And what I know for sure is that many people are looking for someone to fill gaps and holes and voids. And we are oftentimes attracted to someone else based on what's wrong instead of what's right. And so people just need to know. They just, like DiShan said, you know, people just need a hug. You know, a hug without expectation of anything in return, because there is power in love. I love when she said that. There's power in touch. There is power in connecting. There is power in authenticity. And there is power in transparency and honesty. And that just is the context of the conversation tonight. She's a sister after my own heart when it comes to being transparent and real. And that's what this book is about. This book is intended to punch you right in the forehead. You know, it really is, metaphorically, to punch you in the forehead, to say, man, that's me.
Oh, believe me, in this book, Addicted to Counterfeit Love, you really touched on every area. And I want to talk about the woman who is addicted to counterfeit love through sleeping with somebody else's husband.
Mhm.
So
that's deep.
Well, you brought it up. You opened up that can of worms.
Well, that's Valerie's story. That's Valerie's story in the book. That's Valerie's story, and the topic of that particular chapter is called Being the Spare Tire. And the reality is, when you're the other woman, you're the spare. You are not the one created specifically for the vehicle of that relationship, because if you were, you wouldn't be the other woman. You would be the woman. And because you are, there's something wrong, whether you want to admit that or not. There is something wrong when you settle for being someone's option versus someone's choice.
Wow. Well, Vikki, do you think that a lot of women still buy into that old cliche that a piece of man is better than no man at all?
Absolutely.
In my teenage years, I've heard that a lot. And I think that it depends on the community and perhaps the demographics of where you live and your age group, that a lot of people have bought into that, and they have holistically adopted that. I remember I'm an educator, and this was a couple of years ago, and a student of mine kept referring to this young lady in his class as his sister, and I knew his family. And I said, so-and-so, this child is not your sister. And he said, yes, he is. He said, because when my daddy gets mad with my mama, he goes to visit his mother. And I was floored, and it was okay. And the other kids at the table kind of acknowledged the agreement because they basically all live in the same neighborhood. And it's almost as if that it's acceptable and it's okay.
And it's not. It's really not so much a piece of a man as much as it's a piece of the other P that women will settle for.
Yes.
It's really, if we're going to keep it real, let's keep it all the way real. It's about the sex. It is about having needs met. It is about, the euphoria of the high of, passion, or what we interpret to be passion. Because real relating, real interaction, real engagement, and authentic and mature and grown folks' relationship is a 360-degree experience. It's not just in the bedroom. And because I have had a husband and a boyfriend at the same time, it was easier for me to engage my boyfriend because we didn't have to deal with the issues of life that my husband and I had to deal with. So it was easy to be excited and, happy to see him because how I knew, because I intended it to be so when I was on my way to be with him, how the night was going to end. So, addicted to counterfeit love, I'll just tell you, a lot of the details throughout the book are my story, are other women's experiences whom have shared with me, whom I've talked to, whom I've counseled. And, healing can only take place in the light of truth.
That's right. Right. All right. Vikki?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I am sitting up here. I'm trying to take as many notes as I possibly can. Like, I can't write quick enough. I love the fact that you are so transparent about your journey, and especially, like you said, some of these stories are yours in Addicted to Counterfeit Love. Mm-hmm. There are there are a lot of women, and I really believe you wrote this book to women, and I'm not saying that men, we're definitely not saying that men can't buy this book. But in this book, you get really down and deep about just things that we're addicted to. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm sorry, I cannot catch my breath, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm on this new thing. I'm trying to catch my breath. I want to talk a little bit about the audience in which you wrote this book to. Was there a specific audience? I'm sorry. Was there a specific audience of people that you wanted to direct this book to? Somebody just messaged me that and asked me that.
Humans. Humans, particularly women. Some men have read the book and have been tremendously blessed by it. But, you know, we are such a desensitized culture now.
Oh, my God.
You know, we're so stimulated by things that aren't real. Social media, you know, we can be whoever we want to be. We can catfish people. We can create images. We're caught up in reality TV. We are so desensitized to the necessary ingredients of healthy relating that relationships are struggling and are in trouble. And only when you're willing to do the work on you. And doing the work on you is critical because we attract who we are. Every relationship in our life is a lesson that we need to learn. So what do we do? We attract into our lives what we are reflecting. And so when I'm doing marriage counseling before I perform and officiate weddings, or when I'm talking to couples or talking to my girlfriends or my nieces, one of the questions that I ask often is, if you were a man, would you want to be in a relationship with you?
Ooh, wow.
Because often our expectation is that the other person we're in a relationship with was solely, SOLELY, created to fill in our gaps and our broken places. And that is not what relationship is about. If you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, you cannot have a healthy relationship with other people. And that's platonic, that's romantic, that's family relationships. If you're broken, what you are constantly and consistently attracting into your life is drama.
So true.
Whether the drama is loud or whether it's silent, drama is still drama. And silent drama feels like frustration.
Oh, my gosh. That's definitely, if you just heard that, she just said some very key things. We attract into our lives what we are reflecting. Question, if you were a man, would you want to be in a relationship with you? That right there, preach, Vikki.
It's the truth, though. When we think about what we ask other people to tolerate,
oh, my God.
when we just stand on the other side of the line for a moment and just be truthful, would you want to be in a relationship with you?
Wow.
The demands we put on people, the expectations we put on people, would you want to be in a relationship with you? If you were walking into a room with you, would you have peace? Or would you be looking for the quickest exit to get away from you?
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I'm sitting here. Now you're making me think to myself, I'm going to go back and ask my fiance. Like, I'm going to go back and look at myself. Like, if I was a man, would I want to be in a relationship with me? Vikki, why do you think that, especially women, I've never been a man, and don't want to ever be one. So why do you think that women get caught up so easily in counterfeit love? Do you think it's because of the absentee fathers, not having that affirmation that we do need as young girls from our father Why do you think that we so easily get caught up in addicted to it? Because when this relationship ends, it's like we attract the same men over and over again. And I know that I did. I attracted abusive men.
I have to be careful answering this question because there are women that I know whose fathers were in their lives in a very healthy way, yet it still was not enough. And the reality is that we each have to take our own journey.
Right.
We each have to take our own journey. We each have to go from not really knowing God to really knowing God. And the only way to get to really know Him is through a broken place.
So true.
So it's not, I think men get a bad rap because there are many amazing dads. And I think at some point, your father wasn't in your life becomes an excuse. Because consequently, I know some women who don't even know who their fathers are. And they're pretty incredible women in healthy relationships. So we each have to take our own journey and be willing to take that journey
to a
place of healthy relating and self-love.
Is that I've noticed, especially with young ladies in their mid-20s, early 30s, I noticed that a preponderance of them, because say yes to the dress, say yes to the ring, and they actually fall in love with the idea, the fantasy of falling in love.
Absolutely.
And all of the glitter and the gold that accompanies that these days. You may have 2 or 3 wedding showers, which, I'm not against. However, I asked this young lady, and now she's contemplating divorce, at that point, do you think that you are ready for marriage because you are so excited about all the activity that is going on with the engagement? And I think that, it's just human nature. I think that sometimes we get caught up in all that excitement that we don't look at the bells and the whistles and the signals and the danger, Will Robinson sign that's glowing in your face. So I think that you're exactly right that we have to look at our motives and what we are expecting and what do we plan on getting out of this. Or
I think, LaSheera, it's important for us to understand that the beginning of healthy relating in whatever context is when your priority is what do you bring to the table, not what can I get. It's about what do you bring to the other person's life. Are you really better together? Or are you one who starts to strip away at the identity and pursuit of purpose and passion in your partner's life? And again, it is important for us to really ask, what am I bringing to the table? Because you're going to attract what you reflect. If you're coming to a relationship looking for what you can get, you're going to attract someone also looking for what they can get, which is a garden well fertilized for conflict. And let me just say,
I love that, girl. Where are my crayons? I need to write that down somewhere.
It's a garden for conflict. When you come to the table, I want somebody who can do this for me and who can pay my bills and who can give me money and can do this. And then, my question to that person is, what are you bringing to the table besides some good sex? Because after a while, good sex becomes old sex. And then your partner looks for new sex when you don't bring anything else to the table.
Are laying down the cards tonight.
To a man in the dark, under the covers, a vagina is a vagina, period. if you're not bringing anything else to the table. Because when you get out of the bed, what's left? When you can no longer relate sexually, what's left? Can you have a conversation?
Mhm.
Are you the person that your partner wants holding their hand when they're putting a loved one in the ground? Like, that's deep connection. Are you the one that's going to sit by their hospital bed when they don't even know you're in the room and can no longer do for you? Will you still be there? See, if we're not connecting on a deep level like that, then we have a tendency to be in situations that won't last. Because real love, I love that DiShan. I got to order her books. I want to find out what happened to the preacher's wife and to the first lady. I need to know. I need to know. You know why I need to know? Because I used to be her. When she was talking, I was like, this woman is talking about me. That was me.
God.
That was me. I had a husband and a boyfriend, and they knew each other, and they both were in ministry. And we all in the book. That was me, right? So I got to get her books. That was a side note. DiShan, I love you. Love you. Love listening to you. That was just like a parenthetical that I inserted. But what I want to say is love is tested. Now, this is a tweetable. Love is tested in the furnace of affliction.
So true.
What do I mean by that? We all put our best foot forward, right? Especially when we meet somebody new and we're getting to know somebody. But will you still love me when I can't comb my hair, when my breath is not the best, and I can't stop throwing up?
Wow.
See, that's when you know if you have a healthy love relationship. That's sickness and in health and good, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. When things aren't going so well, that's when you find out what the substance of your relationship really is.
Wow. If you're listening, we are live on the air with Vikki Johnson.
Jessica always makes me talk like this when I get on her show. I'm really a nice person. LaSheera, I know we're just meeting. I'm really a sweetheart. She always brings this out.
Let me tell you something. If you are listening, you're listening to Vikki Johnson live on the air. We are discussing her dynamic, I believe it's going to go on past us being here in the earth realm, Addicted to Counterfeit Love. I believe people are going to study this book. I really do. I believe that this is going to be a discussion past our being here, Addicted to Counterfeit Love. People are going to be sitting in their groups talking about Addicted to Counterfeit Love. I'm so glad that Vikki Johnson and LaSheera is here with me today. And if you have a question, you can dial in to 646-652-2512 and press option number 1. We are going to take live callers on tonight, and you can ask Vikki a question. Vikki, this book is, she said good sex becomes old sex, and love is tested in the furnace of affliction.
I said good sex becomes old sex, and if you don't bring anything else to the table, your partner begins to look for new sex.
Ooh.
Let's make sure we
on that.
Oh my gosh! And if you don't bring anything to the table, your partner begins to look for new sex.
Yeah.
What you mean, Vikki?
You have to do more than stimulate your partner's genitalia. Can you hold an intelligent conversation?
Right.
Right? Will you be with me when I lose it all? Or are you just with me only when I'm on top? because we all go through seasons of process in our lives where one day you can have it and the same day you can lose it. Are you in love with your partner because they have a fabulous house? One bad wire in a wall will burn that house to the ground. Will you still be there when you are looking at ashes of what you thought was your dream home? And it's really your partner's. It's not even yours. That's what attracted you, to them. And it's really, we don't really have a lot of time in this life. We don't have a lot of time. And it is just so much better. My favorite line of all times, and tell my age, but my favorite line of all times is in the movie Mahogany when Billy D said to Diana Ross, yeah, you got it going on. You a high-fashion supermodel and you living overseas in Europe and you doing all these things. He said, but, baby, success is nothing without somebody to share it with. And a lot of times we pursue the stuff in relationships instead of pursuing the soul connection. Because when we pursue the soul connection, we're deeply committed to one another, even when the stuff disappears.
That's right.
Because we can replace the stuff. The stuff is easier to replace than the connection.
Preach, Vikki. Preach. That's right.
So it's important to me that people love, and they love in a healthy way. They love in a way that challenges their immaturity, that they love in a way that causes them to grow and expand and increase and multiply and laugh and feel good and be happy. That's love. And we don't tolerate abuse from other people more or less than we abuse ourselves.
Wow.
So if you are a champion of radical self-care, which I am, like I love Vikki Johnson. That's not an ego statement. That's a statement of being almost 50 years old. I love me. And I show me I love me. I go to the beach. I get massages. I get my sleep. I drink water. I have nurturing friendships. I love me. I love my life. And I say that to the glory of God. I boast in the Lord. I say that to the glory of God, which means I have zero tolerance for somebody coming at me out of the side of their neck and being crazy and disrespectful. Zero tolerance. And that wasn't always like that. To me, if I'm gonna use if a young man, was hard and thug-ish and, talking crazy and using all kind of crazy tones, I used to be like, oh, he loved me. It's that New Jack City empire in this generation's vernacular. That's that, Cookie Lucius love.
All right. I'm telling you.
Like before they built the empire. I'm talking about when they were like, all, hanging in the streets doing what they had to do. We think that's sexy. We think that's attractive because we watch too much TV.
Right, too much.
That's not real life. And if it is real life, it's not somebody's dream life. It's somebody's nightmare life.
Girl, I'm about to pass an offering plate for you.
So I like to kind of put, I like to talk about, LaSheera, I like to talk about the elephant in the room. Because for so long, and especially in our community, The elephant is changing into neon colors, from fuchsia to yellow to royal blue, and nobody's talking about the elephant in the room. And that's what this book does. This book, Addicted to Counterfeit Love, causes us, I include myself, to talk about the elephant in the room. And it challenges us to do the work. And it challenges us to see that we deserve love the way God intended. I love the way DiShan put it when she said, I want a place where people can come and get hugs, no matter what time of day or night it is. Because when we can get a hug, it is really God working through someone else to comfort us in that moment. That's what a hug is. And that's why it's so powerful. What she said, it's so simple, but it's powerful.
Yes.
You know, I give great hugs. Like, I give bear hugs. I try to, squeeze all the air out of people when I hug them. And you know what people say to me inevitably every time? Gosh, you give great hugs. I just believe a hug is a tool, is a tool of love, straight from heaven. It really is.
I'm a hugger too. I'm a big
I love hugs.
Me too. I love hugs. I think it's. I always tell people, don't pat me on my back when you hug me. That is so fake. Give me a hug.
Yeah.
Embrace me. Hug me. When you hug, embrace me. Vikki, let me ask you a question. How do people come unaddicted? How can they come unaddicted to this counterfeit love? Is there a process? Is there a 1, 2, 3 step? What can they do to become unaddicted to counterfeit love?
First, we have to acknowledge that where we are is not all there is.
Wait, one moment. We have Carol on the line. Carol is on the line, and she has a question for Vikki. We're going to go ahead and bring it. Carol, are you there?
Yes, I don't have a question. I just have a whoa. I was on the bus coming home talking to my brother just about this. So I tweeted him and all of my male cousins, and I told them to get on this call.
Thank you, Miss Carol.
Yes, Dr. Vikki. Oh, my gosh, I love you. I love you. You always speak life and truth.
Thank you.
Oh,
thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and thank you for inviting your male cousins to listen. Hey, guys, welcome to the call. We're happy to have you, give you a peek into how we are and how we think. Thanks for listening, Carol. I appreciate you. Jessica, so how do we get unaddicted?
Yes, how do we get unaddicted?
Yeah, we have to acknowledge that where we are is not all there is. Then we have to really sit with the truth of, am I settling? Am I settling? And you don't even have to ask anybody. Your holy intelligence, as my spiritual father calls it, your holy intelligence will tell you. Your intuition will tell you. You feel it in your gut. You know when a relationship isn't right. You just know. You know. You don't even have to put language around it. You know.
Yeah, and
you know that you should have something more. You know that all of this drama is crazy. Why do we spend more time arguing than we do edifying each other? Why are you, always made to feel like you're not good enough or that it's not enough? And then on the flip side, why are you made to feel like crumbs should taste like homemade rolls?
Oh. Ooh.
Vikki, let me ask you a question, though. Mm-hmm. What if you're with someone who, and yes, I could call, I'm sorry, let me say Dr. Vikki Johnson.
Oh, call me Vikki, that's fine. We're come on, let's
Vikki
keep going.
Johnson, so congratulations 1,000 times.
Thank you.
Of course. But I do have a question. What if you have someone that's just a very strong-willed person, and you're not that type of person, and your strongness can come across as like you're I don't want to say abusive, but that's just your personality. Like, I come from a strong-willed family. That's just how we are. And if truth be told, some people, if they're weak-minded, they're intimidated by me, and that's not my goal at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know what's the, like, now it's some people, I know some couples, they curse each other out, and they literally think that's healthy. And you better not say nothing about either one of them to each other. I mean, they, Mother Alpha, B, this, I mean, they think it's okay.
If they like it, I love it. If they can live with it, I can look at it.
Oh my
God! Because another step in becoming non-addicted is to want to change.
Wow.
And I don't convince or persuade people that they need to change. I don't. If you like your life, I love it. If you can live with it, I can look at it.
Wow. Vikki, you know the calls are blowing up tonight. We have another caller on the line.
Sure.
Her name is Shirley. Shirley, you have a question for Vikki?
Yes, I do, Vikki. Your story is so similar to my own. My question was, I know my turning point in a relationship outside of my marriage was when God spoke to me in the midst of that relationship. Don't ever let anyone take away your value and determine what you're worth. What was your turning point in that relationship?
Shirley, you can make me go even deeper in my transparency, right?
Go ahead, girl, because
I'm going to answer your question with a question. So I'm going to answer your question with a question, then I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
And my question to your question would be, which relationship are you talking about? Because I've had more than one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Me too.
I've had more than one. Like, I am, I considered, and during that time in my life, like, I really was like I'm a lover. You know, I'm like the female version of a lot of men who would call themselves players.
Oh.
Like, I used to, and I'm just sharing my story. I used to take pride in making men love me because of the way that I treated them. I knew, I was conscious that I could be giving a man or a boy or a young man 20% of me, of my authentic self, and make him feel like he was getting 100. I did it with my friends. I became a master of disguises. To answer your question, the turning point for me was when I really grew attached to and deeply in love with someone in one of those relationships. And God dealt with him and told him to leave me alone.
Ooh.
And I was devastated because I knew that he loved me as much as I loved him. And God spoke to him when he found out I was a preacher, because he didn't know at first, because I didn't tell him, because I was being a master of disguise. That's why I got to get DiShan's book. I'm telling you. When he found out I was a preacher, it gets better. Not only did he not know I wasn't a preacher, right? I was a Christian. He was a Muslim.
Okay.
Like, I used to love living on the edge. And God spoke to him and told him to leave me alone. I was devastated. I mean, I was doing the ugly cry. eyes puffy, can't sleep. Jesus. And after about the 8th day of crying and throwing my tantrum, God told me to stop crying. I heard him say, stop crying. I was like, huh? He said, Vikki, this is the turning point, Shirley. And it shifted everything about my life, including my relationship with God. He said to me, I want you to want me like you want him.
Oh, amen. Jesus.
And in that, it was a rhema moment for me, because in that moment, I got the illumination of the scripture that talks about the deer panting for the water brook. So my soul, Lord, longs after you. I never knew what that meant. Like, I would be in church misbehaving. I would be in church misbehaving, and I would hear people say, Lord, I love you with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind. I just want more of you, God. I give you all of me. And I'd be like, what are they talking about? Like, I had no emotional connection to that. But when God said to me, I want you to want me like you want him, I was able immediately to relate to Damien. And it shifted. When I say it shifted everything about my life, it was the catalyst to get me to where I am today. And one of the things about when addicted to counterfeit love becomes authentic and genuine and real love, the beauty is, because the Bible says to us in Ecclesiastes, God makes everything beautiful in its own time. And I say this when I perform weddings, and I know it throws people off, but it's a truth that we can be in love with more than one person at the same time, because real love is an adult choice that we make to be committed to one person. I'm going to let that sink in for people listening, because we get confused in relationships and conflicted because we fall into the sentiment of relationships and not love.
Totally
we get hung
agree.
up on the memories. We get hung up on how they made us feel, how we made them feel. That's sentiment. That is not love. We can be in love with multiple people at the same time, yet be committed to one person in a healthy, authentic love relationship.
Vikki, you know you got these lines blowing up tonight.
That's great. Let's talk about it.
Sandra is on the line. Sandra, you are live on the air with Vikki Johnson. What is your question or comment?
Hi, Vikki. How are you?
Hey, Sandra.
This is, okay. Do you know who you're talking to? This is
I
Sandra
do.
Cheney.
Hey, Sandra.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say I appreciate you. This is just like confirmation. I mean, you know my story, and so all it is confirming for me and keeping me in a healthy love relationship with my husband. But I do have a question.
Sure.
Before I got married, I was always wanting to be married, and so for the women out there who are just like, you know, when am I going to get married? How come I'm not getting married? Blah, blah, blah. What would you say to them? Because I know during my time, I dated different men who were married, you know, men who were abusive and so forth and so forth. And one day I just stopped because I realized that I was making all the wrong choices, but I had no one to tell me what to do different. So what would you say to the woman who is in that similar situation?
I would say that that woman, that sister, should take inventory of what is she bringing to the table. Because whatever she's bringing to the table Whether it's a whole lot of something or a whole lot of nothing is what she's going to attract. Again, I go back to what I said at the beginning. Would you want to be in a relationship with you, with your motives and your intentions and your heart as it is right now? Because a lot of women aren't looking for love, they're looking for companionship. There's a difference. Because with love, with real, authentic, genuine love, get ready for it, comes responsibility.
Come on.
Yes.
And accountability. You have to give an account when you're in a relationship, particularly a marriage relationship. So if you're single and you don't like other people asking you where you've been, who you're with, what you're doing, you're not ready to get married, because that's one of the realities of marriage. Now you have left whatever you did before, whoever you were before, and stood before God and witnesses and vowed that your life was no longer your own. Yes, you now have vowed that I want to tell you who I've been with and where I've been and what I'm doing and how I'm spending money and who I'm hanging with. I want to sleep next to you in the bed at night and have great sex in the context of marriage. You know, I want to do those things. That's what you're saying when you're planning a wedding. But if you still at that, I want to go out when I want to go out. I go to work every day. I can spend my money the way I don't be asking me how I'm spending my money, who I'm with, what I'm doing, where I'm going. I want to go on vacation with my girlfriends. I don't want to ask you if you okay with it. If that's you, you're not ready to get married, boo. Find you a boo and hook up every now and then. Get satisfied, but don't mess up your life and don't mess up his life going through the whole legal and spiritual process of two becoming one, because that's real. Because we now have a generation who thinks that they can deal with being married the way they deal with dating. So when they get tired of being married, divorce is an easy option, just like when dating, I don't want to be with you no more, so let's break up. And that's what this book is about. Let's talk about what stuff really is. So if you're a single sister listening and you haven't gotten out all of your shenanigans, and they don't have to be bad shenanigans. Shenanigans can be good. You still like cruising with your girlfriends and going out, and you still like doing all these things, do not get married. Unless you find someone who enjoys your shenanigans, because he has his own. Because you're going to attract you. So again, would you want to be in a relationship with you? With your current motives, intentions, and value that you bring to the table? Or do you need to take this time, focus, become your best, highest version of you and attract that person? And then y'all can build and grow and enjoy a life together.
Wow.
Because reality TV got a lot of people jacked up.
Vikki, Jackson just sent me a message. He said, "You are the truth." He wished he was on the show tonight. I'm not going to read the other thing he said because he directed that totally towards me. I'm preaching tonight. He said, "You are preaching tonight." And
Thank
Vikki,
you.
I'm telling you, you are definitely. You know what? I appreciate you because you have. Little do you know, you have chastised me on tonight, and I appreciate it because you know what? I think that when truth comes, you need to accept it and embrace it because I think one thing, especially for me, I've been single for so long. And I had been single. Let me rephrase that. I had been single for so long, so you get used to it's kind of like an independency. It is independency. You like, I could do this myself. I don't need nobody to help me do it because you come up with this, this whole thing that you got it. I can take care of myself. And so then you got somebody to come along into your life, and now you're just like, okay, it's no longer I, it's we, So it's a whole adjustment.
Can I help
period.
you? Can I help?
Please help me.
I want to help you, and I want to help other women who are listening. Now, I'll be 50 this year, okay? So this is experience talking. And it is the wisdom of God, I believe with all my heart. Okay. There was this saying going around that has a lot of women alone right now, okay? And that saying was, act like a lady, think like a man, okay? When women act like women but think like men, they end up alone. Because when a man confronts a woman who acts like a man, he treats her like a man. It's something God put in men. So when we get loud and all up in their face and we're all in our masculine energy, we are, I can do this. I don't need you. He was like, okay. All right, dude. You a dude with breasts. And that's how I'm going to treat you. Right?
Well.
Because Samson was not attracted to Delilah because she was sensual. I mean, she was. But that's not why men go to other women. Men go to other women because they give them a safe place to lay their head and rest. Samson laid his head in Delilah's lap. We don't read anywhere where Samson got in Delilah's bed and she sexed him all night. She gave him a safe place to rest. What women need to really grasp and learn, and I'm saying this as a sister, as a big sister, what we need to grasp and learn is to study to be quiet.
Silence cannot be misquoted.
Study to be quiet. Because it is in that place of our femininity that we are most powerful. I can open the door for myself. I can pump my own gas. I can open my car door for myself, but I don't. I'm a woman. And if you're going to be a man in my life, pump my gas, open my door, open my car door, help me put on my coat, pull out my chair, put in my chair. Walk on the outside of me when we're walking on the street. Put me to the inside. So if somebody drives by and splashes me, you can cover me. You can get wet, and I can stay dry. Men are enamored by feminine pulchritude. They can't help themselves. And because we've had to do so much, particularly, I'm just going to say this, as black women, particularly black women, but because we've had to step up to the plate and raise children and, make something out of nothing, and because we've had to do those things, we have to really have somebody shake us and say, okay, you don't have to do all of that anymore. We know you can, but just because you can doesn't mean you have to or you should. Step back, draw back, because men are attracted to women who allow them to feel, F-E-E-L, like they need them. Men like to be needed. They like to solve problems. Even if you don't have any problems, make up some. So they can fix it and feel good about being a protector, a provider in your life. When we do it all, they look and they're like, it's nothing for me to do. I don't have a place here. So that's when old sex becomes new sex after a while. Because there's nothing for me to do here. We emasculate our men. We emasculate our men because we don't allow them to exercise the muscle of their manhood. And I'm not talking about his penis. I'm talking about his ego.
Mhm. Oh my God, Vikki, as
You're
always,
giving us a lot of information, valuable information.
girl. You know what? I think. Well, the last time you were here, Vikki, you said something. I'm gonna take a picture of it and put it on my and I'm gonna take a picture of it. I had it put it like a little small frame, but she said something that is just mind blowing to me, and it sticks with me. And I'm a little bit diverted from the subject, but you always will. Anyway, you just always give us things that are so powerful, things that are thought provoking, spirit quenching. And one thing that you said is that you cannot experience the greatness of your calling until you have experienced the brokenness of your calling.
Yep.
And I believe that because then now it all makes sense. Things that I have been pondering on, and me and about 5 other callers were talking about what you said one day, and I think that right there was enlightenment to me. I've been quoting you throughout this whole show on social media. You have, we're getting great buzz about you tonight. I'm truly excited because you're going to have to come back again. I mean,
please,
Vikki has,
you know I love coming to the Queen Esther Show. I mean, you introduced me to amazing women. LaSheera, it's so nice to meet you. I look forward to connecting with you as well. I love it here because it's a place where you have created for us to keep it real. I think, LaSheera, you said that earlier when DiShan was talking about just being grateful that Jessica created this space.
Exactly.
Where we can come and be safe. You know, I am truly, truly at a place and a walk in my life where it's about authenticity.
Right.
You know, living without attachments to anything and other people's opinions and all of that. I want people to be free.
That's
why I said, if you like it, I love it. If you can live with it, I can look at it.
Well, let me tell you this.
But while you're doing that, don't complain. See, that's right. Don't complain. Don't complain about what you tolerate.
Ooh. Okay. That's the, let me tell you something, Vikki. I'm probably gonna have like 20 Vikki T-shirts because the lady just got so much to say. Vikki, you have definitely been a breath of fresh air as always. What you do is you disannul a lot of powers that are to be, especially with that of addicted to counterfeit love, because what it is a mask, and they're hiding. They're hiding behind so many false things. I want you to tell everyone, because Vikki has a lot going on. I didn't even get to talk about her Girl Talk Unplugged, a conference that she does every year. Now she's doing something to help women get even healthier with the ISOT. We didn't even get to talk about that, and I really did want to talk about that, I promise. So you're definitely going to have to come back and talk about that. But Can you please tell everyone how to connect with you outside of this platform tonight?
Absolutely. You can go to my website, which is VikkiJohnson.com. That's VIKKI Johnson.com. You can connect with me on all my social media via my website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at all things Vikki, VIKKI, Elder Vikki Johnson on Facebook. And I'm just so grateful, you know, Jessica, again, for this platform that you've given me when I was on the last time. We had 10 winners of my book, and so I'm excited to, you know, autograph and get those 10 books to you for the winners we had last time. But you can get my books on my website, again, Vikki Johnson, VIKKI, VikkiJohnson.com. And the ISOT is amazing. It's totallifechanges.com/Vikki Johnson, VIKKI Johnson. I want women to win. I am for women. I am an advocate for women. I want women to win without judgment, the love, the compassion, the sisterhood, the camaraderie is genuine. It is unconditional. It is without judgment. And I am for sacred sisterhood. That's what Girl Talk Unplugged is. You can also if you're on Facebook, Girl Talk Unplugged, a sacred sisterhood. It's a community of women that God gave me a vision for almost 15 years ago now. So you can connect with that community there. And I'm just excited about the mentorship for women and the spiritual mentorship for celebrities, high-level leaders, and media that I'm putting together through my Soul Wealth Academy, which is coming very, very soon. I just wanted to focus on Addicted to Counterfeit Love, getting it out in the marketplace. Please share it with your women's ministries, your book clubs, your women's groups, your daughters, your nieces, your aunties, your grandmothers. Get this book. Not just because I wrote it, but I believe with every cell in my body that God gave this to me as a tool, just one of the tools, to help women especially live the love. Live the love. Hear me. Live the love out loud that we deserve and the way God intended. That's my heart.
Well, thank you so much, Vikki. And if you are one of those, I'm going to announce it on social media again because we are out of time. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Queen Esther Radio Show tonight. We had a dynamic show. Thank you, LaSheera, for being a guest co-host. She'll be back next week. Thank you, Letitia McDougal, for producing this show. I love you. And Vikki Johnson, you know I love you, girl.
I love you, too.
And we're going to get those 10 people there. God bless everyone. Have a good night.
All right.
Opportunity.